Hey guys, back again, another video. Don't know what number video this is. As promised in my last video, the one previous from this, I was gonna upload another one today. I think I hit 3 today. I think I hit 3 videos today, so I already went over my capacity that I had set for myself. But I was only trying to do 1 to 2 a day. But I don't know, got a lot to talk about, a lot on the mind. Last discussion, we talked about how AI implementation is, how if it's being discussed with Congress and the higher ups, and if it's going to take the road that previous generations have taken when they had their industrial revolution, digital revolution, and whatnot. When those revolutions happened, I guess at the time maybe people feared the economy would also be affected and they will lose jobs, but a whole new list of jobs and category of jobs came out of those, right? Which was great, sure. And we look back and we're like, all right, cool. Nobody really became obsolete. People just moved over to something else. But I guess, and then the whole idea, like, if that doesn't happen, what contingency plan do we have in place? Are we gonna go the UBI route? Are we gonna be developing like a UBI hybrid system, right? Where UBI being universal basic income, are we gonna develop a system that's hybrid of that and people kind of doing part-time gig work that still exists, that isn't taken over by AI? Because a lot of gig work is also being looked at but taken over by AI. So I discussed like Uber and stuff, robo-taxis kind of going that way, which is a big gig job for a lot of people out there, Uber and Lyft. It was for me. And there's the freelance work online that's obviously already being taken over by AI. So what gig jobs will be left? And I don't know. We have to come up with a plan. And we discussed how the next generation of leaders, especially folks like congratulations to him again, Zoran Mamdani, New York City, winning the primary election. People like him are what we need, because they are the ones who are going to face these problems head on. So today's discussion is really, again, about AI, but this time we want to discuss AI's correlation with the birth rate decline and the hypocrisy that I'm seeing from folks like Elon Musk. As many of you may already know, I'm going through some bumps here, give me a sec, sorry, might affect the sound. As many of you may already know, Elon Musk is a big proponent for wanting us to have more kids. He's a pro-natalist, I think that's the term, right? He says that we are having a birth rate crisis and we're not having enough kids, and he's brought in 11, I think 12 now, I don't even know, I can't keep count how many times this guy's out there breeding like a rabbit. And he's saying that it's going to be a problem for us in the future. But at the same time, Elon Musk is heavily implementing AI into his company. He's heavily implementing, he's an advocate for AI advancement, and he knows that this is going to take a lot of our jobs, right? How can you want us to have kids but then take our jobs away for these kids? Again, this conversation is based on what things are how things are going right now, not what the future may look like. Also, there's other arguments, right? Arguments like, oh, we need more kids because we need someone to take care of the older generation. There's the argument of who's going to pay our future taxes, our future Social Security that may not even exist past 2035, or won't exist at the level it is right now. It'll be heavily deteriorated because they can't handle that situation. So the government with funding doesn't work, right? They can't do it right. So yeah, that's really the conversation. It's like, all right, so taxes is another conversation. Let's talk about that. If, again, with how the economy is set up now and mass unemployment is become a big deal, right, is the way things are going to go, unless we're going back to a lords and serfs feudal era system, which I think I should I'm going to come up with another video about that too. I won't post that one today. That's my next video, actually. Which I believe the neo-tech, post-tech AI feudal system that we're going to go towards. I'll discuss that in another video, which I'll post tomorrow. I'll make that video. So anyway, again, taxes. If nobody's working, who's paying taxes? Right? Where's the income tax coming out of? Sure, property tax and stuff still have to be paid, but where income tax is coming out of. So again, in his mind, we have more children, but we might not have jobs for all these children. If you don't have jobs for all these children aren't working, they're not contributing to the economy, and they're not there's no taxes being taken out from them based on the system we have today. So that argument's out the window unless we change the system, right, to make sense with how things are being implemented. But I don't know, it's like hypocritical to me, right? You're wanting us to have more kids, but then you're also advancing the system that's causing us to have potential mass unemployment, losing jobs. Jobs are changing. You can't have both. And the next generation is seeing this. This is one of many things, right? There are already other reasons, right? Kids are expensive. Life is already expensive. So kids being expensive, life being expensive, you have to choose the lesser of the two evils, I guess. That's a really bad term. The part of that makes sense to you, right? So if life is expensive, you're not gonna have kids. If you see life getting more expensive, you're not gonna have kids. If you're slaving away at work because the country with the jobs that we currently have, if it's not taken over by AI, and you're burnt out and you don't have any you don't have good benefits because the country for some reason loves productivity but doesn't love to provide benefits to its workers. I'm talking about the United States here, unlike a lot of the rest of the developed world, then you're not going to get kids out of those people. Childcare is expensive. You're not going to get kids because of that. That goes back into the child expenses. And there are other reasons too, right? Personal reasons, sure. Climate change, right? People are worried about the climate. They're not going to have kids from those people, right? They don't want to bring kids into this world to contribute to us fucking up the economy, the environment even more, and just taking from it, and not, taking from our finite resources more and more, which we rolled back on all these green energy plans, and it's again 1 step forward, 3 steps back, and not going to get kids out of them. And to the Trump administration, your $5,000 is not gonna your $5,000 is not gonna want anybody to go out there and start like humping. So sorry, and start popping out babies. That's not gonna work. That's nothing, right? That's nothing. So it's the hypocrisy that I have a problem with here. You can't want us to produce the next workers if you don't have work for them. If we don't have a plan set for what work we might have for them, then we're just creating future. I mean, in a sense, we're burdening them, but we're also creating future burdens, right? So I don't know, man. I feel like these people they're delusional, of course, because they don't live at the common man's level. And it's funny, is because you're having these people decide for us, right? Who can't understand the common man's level. And I feel like there's a psychological issue there, in the sense of, I don't want to say people are narcissists. I don't want to say they're sociopaths, psychopaths. What I'm trying to say is that there's spectrums of this, and it goes by the environment you're raised in. You are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. I believe that. You're the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So if your whole life you hung out with oligarchs, you're going to be the average of oligarchs, and you're not going to understand the common person. You can't. You just mentally can't get there. It doesn't compute in your brain, right? It's space there. You lack the experience of the common man, so you can't understand the common man and their problems. So you can't go around advocating for this stuff, man. You can't, and not have a problem and solution in mind. And for the people that are planning on trying to have kids, I'm not trying to put you against the idea. I think, yeah, having children is great. I personally don't want to have kids for a lot of the reasons I mentioned here, but it's something to think about. Like, dude, parents who are having kids are the ones who need to fight for your kids' future more than anybody else. But the problem is, you're not going to get the chance to fight for anybody else, because now that you brought these kids into this world, you got to go out there and feed these kids. You got to go out there and make money to make sure that they're set. So I go back to the whole George Floyd situation, because it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on with the George Floyd protests. When people were out of work, right? When weren't preoccupied with trying to pay the next bill and all this stuff, and they had something set for them, meaning they were getting unemployment and maybe a little bit of a kicker. And sure, yeah, we'll throw in the $1,400 stimulus checks in there too. Why not? The fact of the matter is, they were sitting around at home. They had more time and energy to put against the social justice or social issues. So protests were big. If people are not out working, they have the time to put towards this, right? But when you're out working, man, and you got kids, I get it. If I have kids, how can I go out there and protest and try to fight for them when I got to go out there and try to make money? But the problem is, it's short-term thinking. It's short-term thinking. If you don't fight for your kids, you're also not fighting for the future for your kids, right? You're not going out there and trying to make sure that this country, this world is making a better world for your kids, and we need to make better kids for the world, sure. Then what world are you gonna bring your kids into? Aren't you gonna feel bad? I would, so parents need to step up when it comes to that too. I know, man, it's hard. You gotta work, you gotta pay bills, you got something going on, but you gotta find time, man. You gotta find time and see how things are going, because when it's too late, it's too late. And you don't want to see your kids go through that. So yeah, man, the hypocrisy is crazy. I don't understand it, and that's a discussion that needs to be made, right? You can't want us to have kids and then also tell us to we don't know how the economy is going to go, your job might not exist anymore. What jobs are going to exist for these kids? And it's going to be a burden on them and a burden on the rest of the world, right? And that's when it comes to that. So that's not going to entice. What you guys are doing is not enticing people to have kids at all. It's doing the complete opposite. Just saying. So your $5,000 is not going to work. It'll work for some people out there maybe who don't understand these things, and they're like, to them, maybe they grew up so poor that $5,000 makes a lot of sense in their mind. I get it, right? I was that person too once. But I gained knowledge, I gained experience, knowledge, and funding, and then that ideology doesn't exist anymore, right? Now I know how it works. So yeah, all right, guys, that's it. And I'll work on the next video as well. Thanks.